What's the difference between a few and a little? Well, both of them refer to a small number or a small amount of something, but there's a main grammatical difference or distinction between them, which is that a few is used with plural countable nouns. You know, in English, a noun is either countable or uncountable, and you cannot pluralize a noun, which means make it plural, except if it's countable. So few or a few or fewer, anything derived from few is used to refer to a plural countable noun or a plural noun, because any plural noun is countable. Whereas a little is used with uncountable nouns, which are always singular. So few refers to a plural noun, whereas little refers to an uncountable noun. And as a matter of fact, these two words can be used as pronouns, so we can find them in sentences acting as subjects or objects. Let's take a few examples to demonstrate that. I'll begin with a few. I have many books, but I only bought a few. So, I have many books, so I only bought a few. A few here acts as a pronoun and an object. Another example. Some people came to the meeting, but a few left early. So a few here acts as the subject because that few left early. So a few in the first example refers to books, which is plural, and a few in the second example refers to people, which is also plural. Let's take a couple of examples to demonstrate the usage of a little. A little, as we said, is used with a singular, uncountable noun, and just like a few, a little can be used as a pronoun, so it can act as the subject or the object in the sentence. So, for example, you can say, I have a little to say about that topic. This is an example of a little as an object. I have a little to say about that topic. Yeah? You can also say, a little has surfaced about this accident yet, or about this crime yet. A little has surfaced. So a little here acts as a subject, and it's a pronoun. It means a little information or a little data has surfaced or has showed up about the crime or the accident. So the main point I was making in this part of the video is that a few is used with a plural noun, a little is used with a singular noun, and both of them can act as pronouns, so they can come in the sentence as a subject or as an object. Let's move on to another point, and the next point will be about a certain expression which is called quite a few. Let me ask you a question. Do you think when I say quite a few of something, this means a large number or a small number? What do you think? I believe most of you will confuse this one because it uses the word few. So you might think it refers to a small number, but that's not true. As a matter of fact, quite a few is an expression which means a large number of something. You can use quite a few with the word of or without it. So you can say quite a few, and then you follow it with a plural noun. Or you can say quite a few of, and then you follow it with a plural noun. Of course, in both cases, it's followed by a plural noun because, as we established earlier, few is used with plural nouns. Let's take a few examples to highlight this. When I say, for instance, quite a few people attended the meeting, this means many people attended the meeting. Although it might sound, using the word a few, it might sound that the number of people attending the meeting was not large, but that's not true. Quite a few people attended the party or attended the meeting means that many people attended it. Let's take another example with the word of. This one does not include of. We can say, quite a few of my friends are going to the concert. This means many of my friends are going to the concert. So the point I was trying to make here is that quite a few is used with a plural noun, and it refers to a large number of people or a large number of things. You can use it with the word of or without it. Excuse me, just give me a second. Apparently, I've come down with a cold. I have a bit of a runny nose. I apologize for that. Okay. The third point we can discuss in today's video is about the expressions the few plus a plural noun or the little plus a singular uncountable noun. These two expressions refer to an inadequate or an amount or a number that's not enough or that's limited. And these two expressions usually hold a negative or a restrictive meaning. Let's take a few examples. You say, the few friends he had were very loyal. So this means that he didn't have many friends, and the speaker or the writer doesn't approve of this. He thinks that this person should have had more friends than that. So the few friends, the limited number of friends that he had were very loyal. You see, the few friends. The few is followed by a plural noun. The few opportunities she got, she managed to make the most of. So also, the speaker or the writer is disapproving of the fact that she wasn't given enough or adequate opportunities. So the writer or the speaker says, the few opportunities, the restricted, the limited opportunities she got, she managed to make the most of. All right, let's take a couple of examples for the little. We say, the little money we had was spent on food. The little money, which means the amount of money that was not enough, that was barely enough. He gave us the little information he had. He gave us the little information, the limited, the restricted amount of information that he had. So using the few and following it with a plural noun, or using the little and following it with uncountable noun, both expressions are negative in their connotation. They refer to a number or an amount that's considered inadequate or limited. Point number 4 will be about two words that people confuse a lot, and that's less and fewer. Less is used with uncountable nouns, which are always singular. Please don't forget this piece of information. Uncountable nouns cannot be pluralized. They are always singular. So, less is followed by an uncountable noun, whereas fewer, as we have learned throughout the video so far, fewer is followed by a plural noun. For example, you can say, now I have fewer friends than I used to. So this means that the number of friends I have now is smaller than the number of friends I had in the past. So fewer friends, fewer plus plural noun. Also, you can say, you have less fitness as you age. So this means the older you get, the less fitness you have. Fitness is an uncountable noun. So you have less fitness. You cannot say you have fewer fitness, because fitness is uncountable. So you cannot use it with fewer, but it has to be used with less. He earns less money than before. He earns less money than before. Okay? Right. However, there is a common mistake that people make, which is they use less with plural nouns. This mistake is acceptable in everyday conversations, in dialogues, in spoken English, but this mistake is not grammatically correct. You cannot use less with plural nouns, but in daily conversations, even native speakers, they make this mistake because they speak casually or informally, and they tend to use less with plural nouns. For example, we waited less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. Minutes is plural, is countable, but the speaker is using less with it. It's less than 5 miles to the store. It's less than 5 miles to the store. Miles is another plural noun, meaning that it's countable, so it shouldn't be used with less, but casually or informally, people tend to use it with plural uncountable noun, that's less. The last point in today's video will be about the phrase a bit or a bit of. Bit, that's spelled B-I-T. A bit is similar in its meaning to a little. It means a small amount that's inadequate, that's not enough. So, because a bit is synonymous to a little, it's also used with uncountable nouns. A bit is used with uncountable nouns. You cannot use a bit with plural countable nouns or with countable nouns in general. You can also use a bit with of or without of. So you can say, for example, can I have a bit more sugar? Which means, can I have a little more sugar in my coffee or in my tea? So a bit here is used without of, a bit more sugar, and sugar is uncountable. Or you can say, he gave me a bit of advice. A bit of advice. So a bit is used here with of, and of course it's used with advice, which is an uncountable noun. And here we come to the end of today's video, which I hope was helpful and useful for you. It's always a pleasure to see you in my videos, and please, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, and interact with them through liking and commenting. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friends, and goodbye for now.